Getting some good advice so far. So we're going to open up the floor to a quick, I think we're going to maybe break it down to 5-minute question and answer, just because we went a little over on that section. But if anyone in the audience has any questions for our panel up here, just raise your hand and I'll bring the microphone over to you. So any questions at this time? No? Come on, they're so smart and they have so much advice. Ask them something. Take this opportunity to ask them something. Don't be scared, it doesn't matter. Yes?
Hi everyone. I'm kind of late, so I missed pretty much maybe 95% of your talks. So excuse me or pardon me if I ask a very stupid question. My question to all of you is, if you could do it all over again, since my kids are small, what would you do differently this time? Thank you.
Maybe just one or two you guys want to address that question?
I think I would agree with Donna. I would stress less about academics because they're not really as important as you might think. A lot of the times I found myself overstressing for academics, and I could have used that time for other things that I like doing. And I really suggest for everyone to not stress too much about academics.
So I'm the opposite side of that coin. So I actually didn't care much about AP exams, and in retrospect, I wish I did try harder for AP exams. I got a 3, I got no 5s. So for me, I wish I tried harder just because, one, if you get a 5, then you can get extra, or credit for the classes when you get to college, depending on the college, depending on what score. But so for example, you could waive out of Calculus 2 if you got a good exam score. So with that, if you do get to waive out of those, you save extra time that you can take more fun classes like Theory of Jazz or Beginner Swahili. So if you can try harder now as a high school student to waive out of those AP classes and then save the fun classes for college.
I think I would have wished to, not look at other people so much. I think I was really indecisive about oh, what activity should I do? Because that person's doing that, and that person is doing this, and oh, I do this and that, but that doesn't look as good, right? And I think the important thing is to just pick a few things and just stick to it. And I think because of my indecision, I sort of I don't know, it just didn't look as good in the end. And then another thing is, with academics, I think that I did work really hard, and I think it's important to work really hard, but I think that I should have worried less about what I ultimately got. If I worked my best and I got an A- or whatever, I just feel I should have stressed less about it, because once you've done the grade, if you've done your best, you can't worry about it.
And then Melissa, and then we'll close this question.
Great, thanks for shutting us off. So if I would do high school differently, I would go out and have more fun. Because I was a big nerd in high school, and I think I spent too much time just reading books and doing extracurriculars, and while those are extremely important, don't get me wrong, I think it's really important to also have that social side, to be able to have really great friends, to be able to relate to people, because it is a big chunk of your life. And I think when you get out into the real world, you would be really surprised by how important social skills are. It's not just how well you can memorize things. Social skills are really important in terms of getting a job and just having an overall enjoyable life. So don't forget to have fun.
One thing that I wish I did differently was not to let my parents tell me what activities I should do. For example, my parents made me take piano lessons, viola lessons, art classes, dance classes, whatever. And I like doing those things, but I think it's important to know what you like to do yourself. And that thing for me was baking, which was something that not a lot of people do, something that I like. And I think it's important for colleges to see that you found that thing that you have a passion for, instead of something that your parents told you to do and told you to keep doing that in order to get into a good school.
Can I just clarify? What Melissa is saying is she did not get into college because her parents forced her to do things. She the extracurricular in which she really liked and then was baking. and not like piano and all these things. Just to make
Okay, does anyone have one more quick question about sort of high school and extracurriculars or academics or anything that we've touched on so far? Yeah. Okay. Let me just run back there real quick, sorry.
Hi. So you say not to worry about the numbers, but given that a high class ranking and a really high SAT score is like the fundamental baseline for what colleges look at, why is it not okay to focus on academics specifically?
Okay, so I think I actually disagree with a lot of what has been said. I think academics are important. Sorry, let me set up. I think academics are important, but what we're trying to drive is they're important, but you should not be doing those at the expense of doing other things. So, there are some people so a lot of my friends in high school were able to get really high scores without working very hard. I was not one such person, and I had to work very hard in order to get high scores. But what I'm essentially trying to say is, if they will help you get into college. There is a baseline of scores that you need in order to get into a very good college. But the essential point of what we're trying to drive is if that is taking up a lot of your time, if that is making you stressed, then it is not worth it. And if your ultimate goal is to get into a good college, even under that framework, you should not be trying to spend a lot of your time doing schoolwork if it trades off with other things. So.
I'll be really fast. So, I mean, I think when I was saying don't worry about the numbers, is that I think, so I kind of disagree with Lily a little bit in that I do think you should spend a lot of time in academics, and it is very important, but you need to save time for other things as well. So if you quit everything and just focus on grades, just focus on getting that 2400 SAT score, I'm sure if everyone in this room did nothing else but study for the SAT, they could get a 2400, but that's not worth it. And in terms of not focusing on the number, I mean, if you work really hard and study really hard and do your best, then there really is no point in working on the number because the number is the best you can get.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what both has said. I think the important point is thinking about how do you develop yourself holistically as a person, right? Because when the college admissions person is going to look at you, they're going to look at every side. And it's not just about that one, academics are important, but it's just one slice of everything else that's being considered. So think more about who do you want to be as a person, and less about let me get this number and let that number define you.
So, excuse me. So, with you're back there. Okay. So with grades, the most important thing I think we'd all agree with academics is to learn something that's useful, right? Or I should say it like this. Even your AP classes, your hardest classes you'll take in high school, when you get to college, they advertise AP classes as college credit, right? But what is it really? It replaces an intro class. It replaces a 101. So even your hardest classes in high school, your AP classes, when you get to college, they replace a class that's intro. It's almost trivial. It's very, very, can I say easy? Is that the right word? I mean, yeah, Donna's nodding, really struggling. Serena agrees with me. So yeah, I think what's really important is you should take these classes and learn more about yourself and learn about how you learn. Learn about what you like. And if you care and if you embrace the material, then the grades will come naturally. If you actually know the things and you're not studying to get a grade, then you'll learn what you're supposed to know and you'll do well on the test. Whereas if you're just memorizing every night before the test trying to get the grade, then one, you'll have a very difficult time, and two, the worst part is after you take the test, you'll forget, and then the whole thing looking back would be a waste of time. So that's what I'm trying to say is the most important thing. It's to let the end object not be the grades, but to be the process of learning. And that will save you a lot of stress, and that'll give you more freedom, as Willie and everyone else said, more freedom to embrace your other passions and chase your extracurricular and your social life and you're baking.
Is that it? Okay. All right, thank you guys.